Hey, how's it going? I'm Nick Gaska and welcome back to I Can Do That DIY for another doll repaint video. Today we're getting into the holiday spirit, and to do that we're using Honey, the doll that I designed and created myself, to make a Christmas themed doll. Alright, let's get into it. The face we'll be using today is Dumplin. Previously I used the Dumplin Double version for another doll. This is the normal version. I also gave her a new chest. This chest has an enhanced bust line. The new chest will be quite a bit larger than the original and will give her a more buxom and curvy silhouette. Alright, let's move on to the theme for this doll. When I think of Christmas, one thing comes to mind: Santa. But for my doll, I'm not going to do the traditional Santa. We're going to do a non-traditional Santa. Why, you might ask? Because it's fun and I want to. We'll be doing a female Santa. More specifically, Sandra Claus. Alright, let's get into the face up. Off screen, I went ahead and prepped the face with 2 layers of Mr. Super Clear as a base and assembled the body. As usual, I'm going to start by sketching out the eye. To do that, I'm going to be using my Copper Beach watercolor pencil. I'm going to use my eraser and refine the shape as I go. Once I'm happy with the shape, I'm going to fill it in. Then I'll use my white watercolor pencil to mark out the shape for the eyeshadow. Once I'm happy with that shape, I'll fill that in as well. I'm going for a mod looking eyeshadow shape, so it's going to be very graphic and bold. After that, I'm going to go back to using my Copper Beach watercolor pencil and work on the inner eye, the lower eyelids, and the upper eyelid. Alright, that's pretty good for one eye. I'm going to do the other side off screen, and then it's time to move on to adding some blush. To do that, I'm going to use my pink pastel. It's actually called Permanent Red Tint, but it's pink, so I call it my pink pastel. While I do that, I just have to say thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest projects. Also, make sure to follow my Instagram accounts. The Honey Doll Instagram will have updates on how to get your very own honey very soon. As you can see, I've added some blush to the nose and to the cheeks. I want her to look like she's fresh in from the snow. On the next layer, I'll be using my black watercolor pencil to work on the eye. I'll fill in the top eyeliner shape and then nuance the bottom edge. I'll add black to the inner and outer eye. After that, I'll use my pink watercolor pencil to fill in the waterline. I'll do one side and then do the other side off screen. After that, I'll use the same pink watercolor pencil to work on the lip. I'll darken up the outer edges and then blend it inward with a Q-tip. Alright, awesome! Now let's add some highlight to the face with some Perlite's mica powder. Off screen, I'm going to add some more detail to the lip. I'll be using the white and copper beech watercolor pencils to do this. On the next layer, I'll use some watered down white acrylic paint to fill in the eyeshadow shape. After I do one side, I'll do the other side off screen. Then I'll move on to using some red pastel on the eyes and the lip. Alright, cool. Now let's move on to the brows. I'm going to start off the brows by doing a base of white pastel. I'm going to brush on a general shape and refine it with my eraser. On the next layer, using my white watercolor pencil, I'll add some hairs to the brow. Now using some watered down black acrylic paint, I'll paint over the black areas. Alright, awesome. I'm just going to set this aside to dry. Then I'll move on to using some white acrylic paint to add some more hairs to the brow. Alright, next up is drawing on some lower eyelashes. I'm going to use my black watercolor pencil and use an eraser to refine as I go. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side off screen and then seal it with some Mr. Super Clear. Then I'll add some iridescent glitter glue to the eyeshadow. I'm going to use a pin to clean up the glitter position as I go. I don't want it to be on any of the lashes or the black areas. Alright, cool, this looks really pretty. Off screen, I decided to add some red glitter to the tear duct and the outer edge of the waterline. Once this is all dry, we're going to add some fake eyelashes to the top of the eye. As usual, I'll use my Kiss brand faux eyelashes in So Real. I'm going to measure them and cut them to length. After that, I'll use some Elmer's glue wall to glue the eyelash to the eye. I'll put some glue on the eyelash and the eye. Put the eyelash onto the eye, fuss with it until I'm happy with the position, let the glue dry, and then move on to the other side. Once both eyelashes are done, I'll move on to adding some gloss. I'll be glossing the eyes and the lip. For the eyes, we'll just be glossing the waterline. And once that's all dry, the face is done. Now we can move on to sewing. For the outfit, we're making a sexy Santa outfit, of course. I'm going to start off by making the dress. The dress is going to be a long sleeve V-neck dress. The dress will have a bell sleeve, 2 darts at the front, and a gathered skirt. It will have fur trim at the neckline, the sleeve, and the hem. I'm going to start by sewing the 2 front darts. Alright, so here are the darts all sewn. Next, I'll connect the front bodice to the back bodice at the top shoulder seam. I'll sew both sides separately. After I sew everything, I'll press the seams. Then I'll trim away the excess and finish it with some fray check. After that, I'll move on to the skirt. I'm going to connect the 2 skirt panels at the center front. Next up is the neckline facing. I'll connect the front and back facing at the shoulder seam. After I sew both shoulder seams, I'll press open the seam allowance. Then I'll finish the neckline opening with the facing. After that's all sewn, I'll press over the facing. Then I'll pin and sew the underarm seam. Cool, it's looking pretty good so far. Now let's gather up the skirt. I'm going to gather the top skirt edge. I'm going to do 2 basting stitches along the top. Then I'll gather it up off screen and connect it to the bodice. Now that the skirt is pinned to the bodice, we can sew the waist seam. Once the waist seam is sewn, I'll press down the seam allowance. After that, I'll do center back Velcro closure off screen. So yeah, here's the dress base. Looks really good so far. Alright, now let's add some fur trim. Here is the fur trim. I cut it into strips. After I cut it into strips, I finished each edge with some fray check. I'm going to glue it upside down against the grain. I'll attach it to the dress with some fabric tack glue. I'm going to squeeze it off to the side and then brush it on. Then I'll attach the fur. I'll start at the underarm seam and wrap it around. Once I wrap it around, I'll cut off the excess and let it dry. So yeah, this is what it's looking like so far. A little too messy for my liking. So I'm going to mess with it and basically groom it like a dog. It ended up looking something like this. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. The first step I did was brush it out with a metal comb. I'm working out any knots and making it nice and poofy. After that, I'll use my iron and steam it off screen. I'm going to steam it towards the opening and kind of push it into a more matted shape. Then I'll trim away any excess and form a shape. After that, I'll do the same thing for the hem of the skirt. Alright, cool. Now that the hem is all done, I'm going to add a belt. I'll be using this faux leather trim and this buckle I made off screen. I'll weave the faux leather trim through the buckle. It'll be placed at center front. Then I'll use some super glue and glue the whole thing to the dress. I'll start at the center and work my way around. Once I hit the center back, I'll cut away the excess. Then I'll do the other side. Alright, here's the dress so far. Looks really good. I'm going to do some fur trim around the neckline off screen. Now let's move on to making a little Santa hat. I'll start by taking a triangle and making a cone. Then I'll add some fur trim around the bottom. It's the same process as the dress. Off screen, I'll add a pom-pom to the tip. I lost the footage of me making the pom-pom and attaching it because my camera died. Sorry about that. Alright, now let's move on to painting some accessories. We're going to be painting her shoes and her gloves black. Her gloves are just a modified version of her normal nailed hand, but with less defined nail beds. I'll start by painting the shoes a base coat of black. I'll do a few coats until it's fully opaque. I'll do the same thing for the gloves. After that, I'm going to paint the buckles on the shoes gold. Alright, I'm just going to continue on and paint the other shoe. Then I'll seal everything in with some matte varnish. The final step will be adding some sparkle. I'll be using these iridescent star nail charms. I'm going to glue them on individually and then also add some glitter glue off screen. She's making a list and checking it twice, seeing if you're naughty or nice. It's Sandra Claus. So yeah, here's the finished result. I'm so happy with how she turned out. She looks super cute. Obviously I did the wig and the eyes off screen. The eyes are actually extra eyes from when I made Melanie the watermelon girl. I didn't film the wig because the video was long enough and I've made a wig very similar to this in the past. So check out my other videos if you want to see me make a wig just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy Sandra as much as I do. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments below, so make sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think. For the rest of the video, just enjoy the photos. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays! Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!